What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about here on a daily basis. We got some major news for you guys here in this video that I'll let you see here right on the screen. We got multiple different things to go over here for you guys. If you're new to our channel, make sure to click the subscribe button down below so you don't miss out on new videos. It's completely free to do so. And also, thanks so much for liking and sharing these videos. All right, let's jump right in. Here we go. Okay, first up, the U.S. House of Representatives passes legislation to avert a catastrophic rail strike. Here is the details on this. The U.S. House of Representatives overwhelmingly passed legislation Wednesday afternoon that would help avert a freight rail strike the White House feared would cripple the U.S. economy. The vote was 290 yeses to 137 noes. Lawmakers will soon be voting on a related proposal that would provide 7 days of additional sick leave as part of the deal, a concession rail workers and progressive Democrats who represent wanted. The second part of that is being led by Senator Bernie Sanders, who think that they should have some sick leave, which I personally agree with. Why should they have zero paid sick leave is kind of insane, right? At President Joe Biden's urging, the House took up the legislation that would adopt a tentative agreement reached in September, but then failed because 4 of the 12 unions representing rail workers have since rejected the deal, sending up a impending work stoppage. With a December 9th deadline looming, lawmakers, Congress, inserted themselves in the middle of a labor dispute, which they would rather not touch. Speaker Nancy Pelosi Tuesday said the House was intervening with great reluctance, but said the prospect of a strike that would cost the economy $2 billion every day made action necessary. This is not over yet. They're still in the process of this. Quote, President Biden has called on Congress to act without delay to avoid what would be a catastrophic shutdown, and that's exactly what we're doing here today. The passage would be a win for workers across the country. Responding to union demands, House leaders will also put up for a vote on a separate measure that would add 7 days of paid sick leave to the deal, a provision Republican lawmakers said was overly generous and unnecessary. It's only 7 days of paid sick leave. I mean, for the whole year, I don't think that's overly generous and unnecessary. You can let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think that's overly generous? I mean, you need a few days of paid sick leave. What happens when you get sick? You get no days of sick leave? Quote, we believe that the middle class is the backbone of our democracy, and we believe that the middle class has a union label on it. Despite the agreement, 4 of the 12 unions representing rail workers have rejected the deal, setting up the looming possibility of a system shutdown during the holiday period. Nancy Pelosi, who counts unions among her strongest supporters, said she was averse to congressional intervention, but said the alternative would be devastating. Quote, we must act to prevent a catastrophic strike that would touch the lives of nearly every family, easing hundreds of thousands of jobs, including union jobs, keeping food and medicine off the shelves, and stopping small businesses from getting their goods to the market, she wrote in a letter. I mean, do you think it's overly generous and, unnecessary for any job to get 7 days of paid sick leave for the entire year? I mean, does that sound out of whack? Remember here that the United States is the only first world country to not guarantee paid sick leave for as a right for the entire country. We're the only first world country to not guarantee this. I mean, if that doesn't speak volumes, you can let me know your thoughts here. Yeah, I mean, what happens if you catch COVID? What happens if you get the flu? What happens if you get in an accident? Um, what happens if your kid gets sick? What happens if anything like this? Uh, I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, just even if you have kids, like what happens if your kid gets really sick and somebody needs to stay home with them? I mean, what do you do? Like, I just this sounds so draconian and just like unbelievable to me. I don't even know how we are not. How is this like modern day stuff? No paid sick leave, zero. This it's I just can't even believe that this is America when it comes to things like this. Um, yeah, I'm I, please let me know your thoughts here in the comments. Do you think that this is overly generous to give people a few days sick leave? You know, not to mention if you have to actually pay to put your kid in childcare because you're, you know, a working family. Childcare can be several $100s a week, 200, 300, $400 per week. Yeah, here, take a listen.
Well, I mean, we know that this is a bipartisan issue. There's a recent poll that said 81% of voters, including 65% of Republicans, want the Biden administration to do something about childcare. And want, Republicans to work with Democrats and do something about childcare. So, we sent a strong message during the midterms that, Republicans are going to have to pay the price if they don't start supporting families. And they haven't been supporting families. They've been focused on culture war issues like banning books and banning sex education rather than passing paid leave and making childcare affordable. And in this moment where we're about to talk about the triple pandemic, again, it's parents that are missing work. And not able to make payments and pay their mortgage because we don't live in a nation that provides them support. And I think that the issue was really strong in the midterms. I think it's going to be even stronger in 2024 because the cost of childcare is greater than the cost of inflation. 40% of parents are going into debt because of preschool. It costs $18,000 a year for every child. These are real pocketbook issues, and these costs are exacerbating and increasing because childcare spots are not available.
Right. And because, as many experts have said, it is actually a failed market. It is something that needs systemic change. It is not something that individuals are going to be able to tackle on their own. I remember sitting with you, Reshma, and talking sort of in the wake of the pandemic about if that moment had not caused a national reckoning around the need to reevaluate family and child care policies, then what would? So it strikes me that you and I are now having this conversation on the precipice of a triple-demic where it seems as though, yes, Democrats, I think, do understand this. I think Democrats do have a care agenda. Where they have had challenges is bringing Republicans along with them to actually bring something over the finish line. What would that take?
Absolutely. I mean, well, listen, we have some opportunities right now. I mean, Senator Schumer should bring forth the Pregnant Workers Fairness Act immediately, as a single vote and pass that, before the end of the term. And I think, again, mothers are watching them because, so many pregnant workers do not have, the support that they need, whether it's lactation centers, whether it's being able to sit down on a stool when you're pregnant. I mean, basic fundamental things. I think that it's going to take, as far as moving Republicans along, it is going to take Republican voters, women and men, to send a really strong message that the party that supports them as parents, this party that supports them on childcare, on paid leave, the party that makes this affordable, because as you said, it is a market problem. Somebody has to provide the subsidy, whether that's the government or the private sector. We've been pushing at the Marshall Plan, the private sector to start subsidizing childcare, but that's not going to cover every single, every single worker. And the reality is we have to ask ourselves, are women in the workforce a nice to have or a must have? And the reality is 80% of women in the workforce are mothers. And they're doing 2/3 of the caregiving work. So they have two jobs. And so they can't work without childcare. And the reality is that childcare, it's not a personal problem for me to fix. It is an economic issue. And other industrialized nations, they get this. America is the only country that treats mothers as their social safety net. And I'm telling you, Alicia, we're gonna pay the price because we're building a grassroots movement of moms on across the aisle, across socioeconomic status, who are saying enough is enough. We demand the support that we need and that we have earned.
Yeah, let me know your thoughts here. You also can see these headlines here. Child tax credits. Some argue now is the best chance to expand the program because of potential negotiations between Republicans and Democrats by the end of the year or before the new Congress comes in here. So this is a very real possibility. With Republicans set to take over the U.S. House beginning in January 2023, congressional Democrats have a short window to advance their agenda, including passing legislation to expand the child tax credits. If lawmakers don't expand the child tax credits during Congress's current lame duck session, they might not get another chance until 2025 at the earliest, according to an op-ed in the Washington Post. That's because a GOP-led House is unlikely to approve such a measure. The most recent expansion of the credit passed as part of the 2021 American Rescue Plan Act let families receive up to $3,600 per child under the age of 6 and $3,000 for children ages 6 to 17. These changes were only made for 1 year, however. Attempts to extend the expanded child tax credits through the Build Back Better Act fell short, even when Democrats in control of the House, the Senate, and the White House. Remember, they needed 10 votes in the Senate from Republicans, or they needed Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema on board. There was a chance of a scaled-down version that could pass before the end of 2022 if Democrats could persuade Republican senators to include it in their bipartisan budget or tax package. Bloomberg recently estimated that based on its own projected 2023 tax rates, the refundable portion of the current child tax credit will not exceed $1,600, roughly $2,000 less than the expanded tax credit. Bloomberg is one of the many supporters of renewing the expanded child tax credit. All point to its positive impact on child poverty in the U.S. The CTC expansion, in combination with other pandemic relief programs, helped lower child poverty by more than 40% between 2020 and 2021 to reach a low of childhood poverty of 5.2%, according to the Census Bureau data. Another bill that Democrats and Republicans are looking to come together on here is, you could see the details here. Social Security new bill could give seniors an extra $2,400 a year. There's a couple different versions of this bill to give extra benefits to seniors, as this is one of the new things that potentially they're going to work on in the new Congress, but also some negotiations could happen before the new Congress to raise Social Security benefits for seniors. So this is something that they're talking about here as well. The $2,400 a year bill, there's a couple different versions of this bill to raise Social Security benefits for seniors. So Republicans and Democrats have slightly different ideas on how to fix Social Security, and we'll have to come up with a solution on how to do that. Both Republicans and Democrats have kind of the same solution, which is to apply the Social Security payroll tax to high income earners at $250,000 or $400,000 and above, and make them start paying into Social Security. However, a lot of Democrats and independent Senator Bernie Sanders think that because of a Social Security analysis that Social Security independently did, say that because this would bring in so much extra taxes or extra income, maybe I should say, that they would be able to pay out an extra $2,400 a year to everybody on Social Security. So, and Social Security themselves did the analysis on this and said that this would bring in so much extra revenue because there's so many people out there that make millions and millions of dollars, or that even billions of dollars, or just people that make over $500,000 a year that would pay into Social Security, and they would be paying so much Social Security taxes that they don't pay now, that there would be enough money to fund the Social Security system to pay the extra taxes to afford the $2,400 a year raise, but also increase the solvency for 75 years. In fact, there's about 200 co-sponsors from the Democratic side and the few independents that are actually there in Congress. The question is, the Republicans actually want to do this as well, just not really increase the benefits. So the question is can they come together and agree on this? They would only need a few Republican votes to do this. So that is a potential other compromise as well. So yeah, there's a lot of potential compromises here right now that they're going to have to come to one way or another, especially to fix Social Security. Something's going to need to be done in the near future, because by 2035, Social Security is going to start to run out of money, or they're going to have to decrease benefits. So let me know your thoughts here in the comments, and I will keep you up to date here with everything going on here in our country on a daily basis. So if you haven't yet, make sure to click the subscribe button down below. It's completely free to do so. New videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. After you subscribe, click the bell icon that appears after the subscribe button. And also, thanks so much for liking and sharing these videos. I'll keep you up to date. You can click here to watch my newest video next. And you can also click here to see the new Social Security December payment schedule and updates. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.